Hello dear students, as you all know we are doing chapter number 7, alternating current. Right now we are going to do part 8 of the lecture series, and in this lecture we are going to study about LC oscillations. But before LC oscillations, I have to tell you, you have to know what is energy stored in a capacitor and energy stored in an inductor. Okay, so energy is stored in a capacitor. For that, energy stored in capacitor if it is charged. We have already done it in chapter number 1, and the formula is that for U is equal to half CV square. If it has a charge of Q, then Q square upon C, and if it has a charge of, if it is a voltage of, like suppose if we put C is equal to Q upon V, V is equal to Q upon C, we'll get this one, and if we put Q upon V for this, we are going to have half Q upon V, one V will be cancelled out, we are going to have half QV. So this is the energy stored in a capacitor in different terms. This is in terms of capacitance and voltage, this is in terms of charge and capacitance, and this is in terms of charge and voltage. That we have done already. That we have done in the chapter number 1 itself. But what we have not done, what is the energy stored in an inductor. So let us start what is an energy stored in an inductor. Energy stored in an inductor. Energy stored in an inductor. How that energy is stored in an inductor, let us see. Suppose an inductor is there and it has been given a power supply V, but there is a key and initially this key is off. Now if we on this key, then what will happen? Current will start flowing through the inductor, and because of this current there is a magnetic flux which start linking with the inductor. If this current start building up, this current start increasing, and as per the current increases, the magnetic flux also changes. Because of magnetic flux, there is an induced current. Okay, that we have done in the last chapter number 6, electromagnetic induction. Whenever a time varying current is flowing through an inductor, there is an induced EMF in the inductor. That phenomenon is called self-induction. Self-induction, right? That phenomenon is called self-induction. And in this case, the EMF which is produced is given by E is equal to minus L di by dt. Right? Minus L di by dt. So if I want to know what is the energy stored in the inductor, then what I have to do? So let us try to understand how the energy has been calculated. So this is the EMF induced in the inductor, right? For the EMF we have another definition. For voltage we have another definition. Voltage is equal to work done upon charge. Work done to carry a charge through, suppose this is the potential difference between 2 points. So work done to carry a charge Q between those 2 points is called potential difference between those 2 points. Okay. So this work done, if it is done by the external agent on the system, then it will increase the energy of the system. If this work done is done by the system itself, then what will happen? The energy of the system decreases. Now what happens here? This EMF develops. EMF is simply potential difference. If EMF is the potential difference between these 2 points, right? So what is the work done to carry a charge from here to here? That is a voltage. So if I apply this concept over here, then what I am going to have? EMF is equal to what? dW upon dQ. Okay, so dW is equal to what? E into dQ. The value of E is L di by dt. Let us put it there. So L di by dt into dq. Let's take dq and dt together. We are going to have L dq by dt into dA. Now dq by dt is what? Rate of change of flow of charge, rate of flow of charge. It is what? Current. So dw is equal to Li dA. So this is the amount of work done to carry a charge dq from here till here. Okay, and this work done has been done by the voltage which is being induced. So what is the work done to carry, to produce a voltage, to carry, to build a current I? That will be the energy. Hence, total work done to change current from 0 to I. Because the induced current, what it does, it opposes the original current, right? It opposes the original current. To oppose that original current, we have to do work done on the system. So here, we are going to have W is equal to integration of Li di from 0 to I. L comes out of the integration. We have integration of I, which is equal to I square by 2, limit 0 to I. Or finally, we are going to have half Li square. So this is the amount of work done which stores in the form of energy. So energy of the inductor will be given by energy of inductor is given by U is equal to what? Half Li square. Suppose the current builds and current builds to its maximum value I naught. So maximum energy will be what? Maximum energy. Maximum energy is given by U naught is equal to half Li naught square. I hope it is clear. U naught is equal to half Li naught square. So this is the energy of an inductor when the current builds from 0 to I. So basically, inductor keeps the energy, and the expression of the energy is this. That energy is stored in the form of magnetic field energy. This magnetic flux, this is stored in the inductor in the form of energy. Okay, so energy in the inductor is stores in the form of magnetic flux, magnetic field energy, you can say. Okay, just remember that formula. It will help us during LC oscillations. Okay, now let me remove all this and let us start LC oscillation. So let us start LC oscillations. What is this? So this is a circuit combination of a capacitor and an inductor. The capacitor is initially given a charge, okay, and that charge starts discharging. If we connect this circuit, then capacitor discharges along inductor, and then after inductor there is an induced current in the inductor which again charges the capacitor. Again the charge gets discharged across the inductor, and again induced current charges the capacitor. This process goes on, and that is why it is called LC oscillation. Okay, so let me make all the circuits, and then after we'll try to understand how this happens. Okay, so what is LC oscillation? Let me give you a brief. LC oscillation is simply, it is an inductor capacitor series circuit in which capacitor discharges itself across inductor and induced current in the inductor charges capacitor. It happens in a loop, right? So this is what the LC oscillation is all about. Let me make the circuits, then after you'll be able to understand. So let us start understanding what is LC oscillation. I have made 8 circuits, but I have not made charge, I have not made current. I'll make it then eventually, right? So let us start. Initially, let the capacitor be charged. Let the positive charge be the upper plate and the negative charge be the lower plate. The direction of electric field inside the capacitor plate is from positive to negative. If you switch on this right now, there is no current in the circuit. This is the initial state. Capacitor is having Q naught charge, maximum charge. Initially it is having Q naught charge. So if I make the energy diagram, so the capacitor is having maximum energy in this case. This is a UC, and inductor is not having any energy. So UL will be 0. But what happens within a fraction of time, the capacitor starts discharging itself across the inductor. So there is a current flowing in the circuit. Let that current be I, and since the capacitor is being discharged, the charge on the capacitor plates start decreasing, and therefore the electric field inside the plates of the capacitor also decreases. Now since the current is flowing through the inductor, then what happens? There is a magnetic flux linked with the inductor, and because of this magnetic flux, because of current, inductor have some energy now. So if I make the energy bar again, now capacitor is having less charge, so its energy is decreased. This is your UC, and since inductor is having a current, and for the formula for the energy is half Li square, so it is having a current now, so that's why it has some energy. So this is a UL. After a while, what happens? Capacitor discharges completely, current reaches to its maximum value, that is your I naught. The flux reaches to its maximum. Okay, flux reaches to its maximum, current reaches to its maximum value, capacitor is being discharged completely. In this case, what happens? The energy of the capacitor becomes 0. So the bar diagram of energy, you see 0, but UL reaches to its maximum value, and this is a UL because current reaches to maximum. The inductor in the energy in the capacitor, the energy in the inductor is directly proportional to the current square. Current is maximum, that's why the energy is maximum. But now after this, what happens? Listen to me carefully. After this, what happens? Since now capacitor is completely discharged now, so the current starts decreasing. And when current starts decreasing, this magnetic flux also decreases. So there is an induced current in the circuit which supports the original current so that the magnetic flux should not change. This is the nature of the induced current, that it supports the decreasing and opposes the increasing. So now this current starts decreasing, and that's why in the circuit there is an induced current in the circuit. This is induced, and this is induced because of inductor. Okay, so there is an induced current in the circuit. What it does, it again charges the capacitor, but since the current is flowing in this way, the capacitor gets charged this way. So this time the electric field is upward, and now the magnetic flux, since this current is slightly less of this, so the magnetic flux decreases. So now if I make the energy bar diagram, capacitor is having some energy, UC, and inductor's energy decreases, UL. Okay. After this, what happened? After a while, capacitor gets completely charged. So positive charge down the plate, negative charge upward the plate, and the direction of electric field is in this way. But the current becomes, till that when the capacitor gets completely charged, current becomes 0. And in this case, the energy of the capacitor is maximum, but energy of the inductor is 0. Okay, again what happens? Again capacitor starts discharging itself across the inductor. Which inductor? Obviously this one. But now since this plate is positive charge, the current starts flowing this way. Current starts flowing this way. So if the current is flowing this way, the magnetic flux, which was already downward, this time this will be upward. The charge on the capacitor decreases, so the charge on the capacitor becomes this. Okay. So in this case, what happens? The energy of the capacitor decreases. The energy of the capacitor decreases, but energy of the inductor increases. Earlier it was 0, but it will now have some value. After a while, what happens? Capacitor discharges itself completely, and magnetic flux will be in this way. The current reaches to its maximum value I naught, And in this situation, what happens? The energy of capacitor is 0. UC is 0 in this case, but UL have its maximum value. UL is maximum value. And again, same concept happens. The capacitor, the inductor, there is an induced current because current reaches to its maximum value. So there is an induced current which again charges the capacitor. So there is an induced current I which supports the original current because the current is decreasing. So this is an induced current. Induced current. Okay, and magnetic flux decreases this time and capacitor starts getting charged and the direction of electric field is downward. Now what happens? Capacitor is having some energy now, but inductor have no energy. Inductor have less energy. Earlier it was maximum value. So after a while what happens? After this state reaches and then after the same process goes on. So this is how the LC oscillations take place. Okay, first capacitor discharges itself across the inductor, then inductor charges itself with the help of induced current, then again capacitor discharges itself through the inductor, and again inductor charges the capacitor through the induced current. So this goes on in the circuit, and this is what the LC oscillation is all about. Why we say it is an LC oscillation? If you say so many things like the C charge, here the charge is Q naught, here it is less than Q naught, suppose Q, then again it becomes 0, then again it becomes minus Q, then again it becomes minus Q naught, then again it becomes minus Q, then again it becomes 0, then again it becomes Q, then again it becomes Q naught. Q naught decreases 0, then minus Q, then reaches to maximum negative, then intermediate negative, then 0, then intermediate positive, then again positive. So charge is oscillating. If you can see, maximum decreases 0. If I make a graph, maximum decreases 0. Okay, and then after negative reaches to negative maximum, and then after again decreases and comes to 0. Then after this, the oscillation of charge takes place. The value of charge takes place. Same happens with current. Same happens with energy. Just you can see any of the energy block. Any of the energy block. Just see. You see maximum decreases 0. Again increases, maximum decreases 0. Again it increases. So energy is also oscillating. Right? Energy is also oscillating. So this is all about LC oscillations. Now we are going to analyze it analytically and just see how the charge, what is the function of charge, what is the function of current, and if the function of charge and current we have, then the function of energy also we will have. Okay, so let us understand, let us do it analytically, and then after we'll see the function of charge and the function of current. So let us analyze LC oscillation. In LC oscillation, if you start understanding about the voltage, so there are two voltages. One voltage across capacitor and another voltage across inductor. And when we add both of the voltages, then the answer must be what? 0. Why I am saying so? Because there is no resistance across which the voltage can drop. So by Kirchhoff law, at any instant, voltage across capacitor plus voltage across inductor is 0. So voltage across capacitor at any instant, that will be Q upon C, plus voltage across inductor, it will be minus L di by dt is equal to what? 0. So now I am going to have Q upon C minus L d by dt of I can be written as dq by dt is equal to 0. But there is a twist, and then let the twist be, and that twist is I have to write minus dq by dt. Why is it so? Why I am writing minus? I am writing minus because when the charge on the capacitor was decreasing, then the current in the circuit was increasing. Let me repeat again. When the charge on the capacitor was decreasing, then the current in the circuit was increasing, and that's why this minus sign is there, because current is negatively rate of flow of charge. It simply means that dq is decreasing, current is increasing, right? So this minus makes this plus, and we are going to have q upon c minus L d square q upon dt square, double derivative of charge, it will become plus, is equal to 0. Or we can write, let me write it first, so it will become L d square q upon dt square plus q by c is equal to 0. Or I can write d square q upon dt square plus, if I take L common and send it to 0, q upon LC is equal to 0. Okay, I can write that. Okay, now 1 upon LC. 1 upon LC. You have already studied that omega naught is square is equal to omega naught is equal to 1 upon under root LC. So basically this LC dimensions will be equal to what? Omega naught is square is equal to what? 1 upon LC. What I am saying is that dimensions of 1 upon LC is equal to omega naught square. So omega is angular frequency. I am not saying this is going to be a resonating frequency, I am not saying that. But it is equal to sum of the angular frequency only. So in place of 1 upon LC, we can write d square upon dt square plus omega q is equal to 0, where omega square q, where omega square is equal to what? 1 upon LC. So this equation is this equation is an equation of double order differential equation. So the above equation is double order differential equation. Double order differential equation, and the solution of double order differential equation is either in terms of sine or in terms of cos, but we don't know what its solution is going to be. So what I am going to say is its solution is in the form q is equal to, we are solving it for q is equal to a sine omega t plus b cos omega t. I am writing both. Okay. Now I'll calculate the value of a and b. If a comes out to be 0, then it is obviously the charge will be in terms of cos, and if b comes out to be 0, then charge will be in terms of sine. Okay. So I'm going to solve this one now. Now just see. Initially t was equal to 0, q was equal to q naught. Q naught is the maximum charge that the capacitor was having. Okay, so let us put the value. Q naught is equal to, in place of sine omega t, it will become 0. So a multiplied by 0 plus b multiplied by 1. So basically q naught is equal to what? B. Value of b is equal to q naught. Now also dq by dt is equal to minus a, not minus a omega cos omega t. Just differentiation of sin omega t is cos omega t. Again omega t will be integrated, omega will come over here. Minus b omega sin omega t. Again it is being differentiated. Initially q was equal to q naught, t is equal to 0, and that case dq by dt is equal to 0 because it is having its maximum value, and at maximum value the first order differentiation is 0. Let us put it over. dq by dt is equal to 0. If we put t is equal to 0 over here, cos 0 is equal to 1, so a omega plus, if we put omega t is equal to 0, it will become 0, so it will become 0. Okay, b omega multiplied by 0, 0. So omega is transferred to that side, so a is equal to 0. As I was telling you also, okay, I have written both. If a comes out to be 0, then the answer will be in terms of cos. If b comes out to be 0, then the answer will be in terms of a sine. So here a is 0, b, the value of b we are having. So from here what we can write? We can write that Q is equal to B A sin omega t plus B cos omega t. So value of A is 0, value of B is Q naught. So we are having Q is equal to Q naught cos omega t. So this is the value of Q naught. Q. So as you can see, Q is the function of cos. Q is the function of cos, that we can say it is oscillating. It is a equation of SHM also. The value of Q is moving in the case of SHM. Okay. If from here we can calculate the value of I is equal to minus dq by dt. If I solve it, then we are going to have I is equal to minus d by dt of Q naught cos omega t. Q naught will not be integrated. Q naught comes out to be integration. So Q naught, the integration of differentiation of cos is minus sign, minus will become plus sin omega t. Okay, and 1 omega is also there, to Q naught omega. We can put the value of omega also here. We are going to have Q naught upon under root LC sin omega t. So this is the value of current. As you can see, current is also in terms of sign, so it is also varying in terms of sign. Charge also varies, current also varies. So energy of capacitor, it will also change. How? Energy of capacitor at any point of time, half Q square by C. Just put the value half Q naught square cos square omega t upon C. This is the energy of capacitor, right? Okay. And for inductor, half Li square. Just put the value of I over here. Half L in place of I. Q naught square LC under root square of LC is LC, this one, and then sin square omega t. L and L will be cancelled out. We are going to have 1 by 2 Q naught square by C sin square omega t. At any point of time, if you add them, U net is equal to what? UC plus UL. So as you can see, half Q naught square by C, half Q naught square C you can take common. Half Q naught square by C you can take common. Above you can have cos of square omega t. From below you will have sin square omega t. If you add them, what we are going to have? We are going to have 1. So basically, the total energy at any point of time is Q naught square by C, which is initial energy of the capacitor. Initial energy of capacitor. So the energy of LC oscillation always remains constant. The energy of LC oscillation always remains constant. Okay, so this is how the thing goes on. Okay, so this is all about LC oscillations. It was again there earlier when we were studying LC oscillators in transistor, but transistor has been removed from the syllabus, so we don't have to study it again. But I hope in this chapter only one thing is left now, and that thing is transformer. Okay, we'll study transformer in the next one, and after that this chapter will be over. This is all for the day. Thank you.